everybody. Welcome to the Wandering Buffalo's living room. We are getting ready to go out to Arizona to hopefully find a claim.
That's right. So this episode's a little bit different. First, before obviously we get to Arizona, we're going to show you just a little bit about some of the tools and the research we're doing to prepare for our trip so we can make the best use of our time.
Okay, so let's get down to some research here.
So one of the first things we looked at was actually from a couple years ago. We found this website called Gold Maps Online. You can actually pick out available state maps from Alaska all the way to Washington. So anything west of the Mississippi. For us, we're looking in
Arizona.
This isn't the most accurate way of doing it, but it'll help give you some general information. And what I like about it is it overlays with Google Earth. I think all maps are $19.95 and you get an email file sent to you. All right, so the way this map is, you can see here we have the Arizona. Now, granted, this information's a bit stale, but these little squares indicate areas where there's claims. The places section, you have Arizona active placer, active loads, closed load, and closed placer. So if you click on all of them, the different colors will indicate what kind of claim information you're looking at for closed areas. So we're zooming a little bit in. We're looking in here in north of Phoenix.
How big are those grid areas?
All right, these boxes here represent the section part of the Meridian Township Range section, also known as the MTRS. These sections represent roughly 640 acres each. If you zoom in on the section here and click on it, it'll show you the active, the MTRS information. This is what you need to go into the BLM's LR 2000 to get more details on claim ownership.
So this represents 160...
Approximately 160 acres.
Okay. And a claim is how much?
Typically, an average regular claim for miners is 20 acres, though they can be bigger for larger operations and types of claims. This was our first tool, and one thing we like is the satellite imagery to really look and see mineralization in areas.
We want to make sure we make the best use of our time.
Exactly. So again, this was our first tool that we ever found to help us do research. It is not up-to-date information about their claims. It doesn't give you a lot of specifics. It just gives you the details to then go into the LR 2000 to find specific claim information out. So that takes us to the next tool that we found last year. It's called the Diggings. So this site here, you got a few different ways to do searches. Linked into LR 2000. I like it because it loads really fast. It gets you a lot more information. So you just select whatever state, again, Arizona for us. And then we know we're going to be in Yavapai County. So here, then it can look and then we can load up all claims. And this will show you active and closed. So right now I have it filtered on active claims. And I went ahead and hit satellite, so that way, again, we can see mineralizations of the areas we may want to check. So a good boundary that we use, what's this lake called again?
Lake Pleasant.
That's right. So this is kind of our guide marker. We're looking in this general area in the Bradshaws, areas that we've been to, but we're trying to find our own ground.
So what's up here?
All right, so these places up here, as you can see, it looks all crazy. You see the regular squares around these other places. That's the same as the last program we were looking at to indicate, approximately 640 acres. Now, if you zoom in, you can see a lot of crazy details here. This is actually patented mining claims and boundaries. So these are obviously off limits. Patented, of course, is they own both the mineral rights and the actual property, the ground. So you can't get new ground that's patented, but you can, if you're lucky, or if you have the money, can buy patented mining claims if they become for sale. But one thing about Arizona, if you remember, the state trust land.
What's a state trust land?
The federal government sold off land to Arizona, and so it's held in the state trust. Now, obviously, it's not mining claims through BLM. For those, you can claim the ground up, but you have to go through the Arizona. They are more expensive. There's a little bit different nuances. So for this, we're probably going to avoid those areas, and then just focus on regular federal ground to find some places. But it's the same thing here. We can look and see the mineralizations in the satellite. If once you find it, you can click on the grid square, and this will give you some quick details here. So it shows us 2 active claims, and then it tells you there was 7 closed mining claims here where they didn't refile. Now this site here, this allows you to get a little bit more detail about the claim. Again, you can confirm the serial number here to look up more specifics in LR2000. Not all of those boxes that you saw here in this map is all 640 acres claimed up. You know, there's only 2 claims here, so only 40 acres. So there's 120 more acres in this box here in this township section, Meridian Township.
That can be claimed.
That's potential to be claimed, yeah.
Okay.
So, but this way you know ahead of time, you should be looking for 2 claims if this was the ground you wanted to see. I like this. I use this a lot. I think this was one of my favorites.
So now we're going to look at My Land Matters.
Yep, this is another great site. It's free as well, just like the diggings is. A lot of people talk about this one from, in the GPA, from Kevin Hoagland to Shannon Poe of AMRA. Free information here that's linked into LR2000. So it's pretty updated. Usually twice a month this information gets refreshed. So they have different map projects, land status, geology, minerals, big mines, or now mining claims. And it's broken up by state. So
let's pick Arizona.
All right, they're what MapLoad loads up a little bit slower, and I recommend when using it, don't switch immediately to aerial, which is the satellite. Keep it here on the U.S. road maps. It makes it a lot easier to zoom into informations. So right now I have the little magnifying glass, and I'm clicking up here. We know this is the area where Lake Pleasant, right?
I think so.
Yep. So we know it's north here of Phoenix in this area. So I'm just clicking in here to zoom in. If you look here at the legend, you see the BLM LR 2000 placer claims for Arizona and load claims is checked, as well as county recorders. So the information is referenced there. So we know this is our general area. We have the magnifying glass. They have different tools to zoom out, to move your map around and drag it. You can actually search by specific information to zoom in, or if you click this I button and you click on a claim information of the 640 acres, it'll pull up all the claims that are active. It'll separate it too by load claims and placer claims. So we picked one that just has load, so it gives you the map symbol of the blue lines. So let's click on one that looks funky colors. So this one here shows us one active placer claim, 20 acres, and then it has all these active load claims.
Looks like the same people own it.
Yeah, Silver Mountain Mining is the claim owner.
Ah, one of the big guys.
This last column here tells you when the information's been refreshed, so June 15th. It also gives you county book information if it has the county recorder info, which could help point the direction to get more details in the county records. Or you can click here and it pretty much will take you straight to LR2000 and just give you this information, but in their report form. So we'll take a look here. And it opens up the LR2000, which is a really finicky system because it's the government. it doesn't work well. It's slow. You airs out. You got to refresh. That's why My Lands Matters makes it a lot easier to check the information. But this information here is what you see on this line. For us, Google Earth is a great program to start out with. The level of imagery and detail, and being able to even use offline if you don't have an internet connection once you install the program on, is just invaluable. The ability to also zoom way in at unbelievable detail and see even the small, tiniest little washes and branches of areas to identify where you want to go is incredible. The other thing we really like about it is when we're trying to plan our trip of where we want to go, you can drop these markers and you can even name them and put more information in the description. You can color code them. So say we wanted to check out this wash, we'll drop a marker there. Maybe we wanted to check out down here in this wash to walk our way up. So we're looking at how we're going to get to the different places so we can plan our route, because obviously we can't go over mountains unless you want to hike on foot, and this is a lot further distance than you realize. But this is only for illustration purposes. These are not the specific areas that we're checking out this trip, so you're more welcome. Take a look. Now we're also going to put, even though again this is older information, so for all we know this is all claimed up, or none of these claims here, or maybe there's only one or two claims. We'll say, hey, let's go check out up here at this wash, and we'll name it test 4. So we have 4 markers that we identified. One, we'll have to figure out how we're going to get here, what washes to take. But again, you can right click on your markers and get all the information you may save, the specific GPS coordinates. Now we'll have to go to the other program and confirm if this ground is claimed up. So we're back in the diggings. This is easier to use than My Land Matters as far as in terms of the map refreshing, but again, it may not have 100% of the claim information. I've already double checked. You can either search for the claim area, the section, which are these little grids, or by satellite imagery, looking at topography, roads, washes, big creeks, to kind of use dead reckoning to see the area. We put markers right in this lower section, one right here, and then of course down in this wash, and then we went into this area. Now on our old program, it only showed this having some claim information. Right now this program showing one active claim, the Dan 3 by Swallow Mining LLC. Over here in this one, all of a sudden now we have 4 active mining claims, also owned by Swallow Mining. So more than likely, there's one by another company. The Swallow Mining may all be tied into the same area that they're exploring, or they could have just test claims all over this ground. We don't know. These are still showing not claim. It could be state trust land too. We won't know until we go out there specifically, but there is other ways to research. Now moving on to My Land Matters. So again, I kind of did the diligence, dead reckoning. You also have GPS coordinates. You can search specifically by claim owners to get more information. I will switch this over to the satellite imagery, and you just have to move your map around just a little bit for it to zoom and update. So here you have the 2 claims we first saw, and if you go to the eye icon, the Dan 3, which we knew, now you have the Rebel. From the diggings, the Rebel wasn't coming up. It's also owned by Swallow Mining. And then if you click here on this box, because I had a marker down here, right here, over here, and down here, we went from 4 claims now to 29. So several placer claims and several load claims. And most are actually owned by the same company, Swallow Mining. The placer though is by another company or individuals. It may not be worth our time to even go here into this lower section, because most of this is all claimed up as of today. This grid though, we may be able to explore more, as well as we could technically go over into one of these other areas if they look more promising, just because there's not as many claims. But for whatever reason, this is obviously a lot of investment going here to clean up this ground. So there must be some good deposits that somebody has found. So then this allows you then to go back to Google Earth, double check, maybe move markers around, find new areas of interest, and record those. One thing we didn't talk about before we wrap it up is you use the GPS coordinates. You can either put it in a portable handheld GPS, so you can have your route while you're there and track your footpaths so you know where you're going, or you can even use your cell phone and download offline maps with satellite imagery, possibly on some of them, and import or add in your GPS coordinates for the different areas you want to check. You should always have something to make sure you're not getting lost and that you're actually going to take a look at the ground and test the areas that you wanted to and spend all the time researching ahead of time.
Okay, so the next step is to let's pack up and go.
That's right, so we'll see you here in Arizona shortly.